Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Home Study. This is a podcast for parents, especially those who have children through or are exploring foster care and adoption. We are here to help you navigate the world beyond paperwork and placement. Thanks for being here. Okay, welcome back, everyone, to Beyond the Home Study. Laura and I are here to have a little chit chat with you. Chit chat,
A little chit chat.
therapy session, uh glimpse into our crazy brains. I don't know. How would you Yeah, go ahead.
To
Classify
just
it.
say we're gonna tell you guys all about the inner turmoil that we feel and the conversations. This episode stemmed from more than one conversation that Abby and I have had just personally about, do I stay home with the kids or do I go back to work and everything in between? And we have inner turmoil over this all the time. So many conversations about this. And then one day we just said, you know what? Let's just have this conversation on air in front of a lot of people.
I know. And we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. No, but seriously, like if we say something that is, offensive to you personally, like we just apologize up front. That's not our intention. Our intention really is just to share thoughts that are going through in our own minds, how we're wrestling through that, especially given having children that have some extra needs. And then yeah, like what we think about that. And if that I my hunch is that it's gonna resonate with a lot of moms out there.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think both of us have unique stories of how we got to where we are now. So I don't know how much we want to dive into the past and how we got here. Um Might be a little bit helpful just to set the stage a little of yeah, how did you end up being a stay-at-home mom who is working part-time from the home, not out of the home anymore? I mean, I was trying to think through your timeline of things. And I was like, I couldn't even describe it. So I have to just ask you,
Can't even describe my own timeline. No,
yeah,
actually, what's funny is that, like, sometimes I don't even know what to tell people. Like,
yeah.
if that isn't like, what is that? Like, I'll be like, "Oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Well, I'm an entrepreneur. Well, I'm like a part-time OT." I just next question.
Yeah. Okay, well, just to fill in a couple of gaps. So let's start. You graduated college, started working. Just walk us through the high points. And I can do the same
Okay.
thing too, just because then I don't know, I feel like that gives a little bit of context.
Yeah, we can give some context. Yeah, so went to undergrad, worked for a while, not related field. My undergrad's in psychology. Then went back to grad school for OT. Graduated OT school and started working full time job. I did travel OT for one little stint. Got married in the middle of that. Don't recommend. You
Right.
forgot about that. Remember, my
I
husband and
forgot
I
about
didn't
that.
live. We didn't live together for like the first I don't know how many months of being married.
It was
Anyway,
a few months, yeah.
yeah, it was a trying time.
Wow.
And then, yeah, so I work my husband was in school. He's a lot younger than me, we've mentioned on here. And so by school, I mean undergrad.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, so I worked full time in a couple of different settings as an OT, skilled nursing, school systems, home health, like literally every setting that you can. And then when we moved, came back, we had been through some, just some trauma trauma drama, and, so when we moved back to Louisville, I actually just was like, "I need a break," and so we didn't financially need me to work full-time anymore, so I started working part-time right away before kids.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I did, like, a maternity leave for someone, and then we were going through the foster care process, and then once we got placements, I just started, doing part-time work. So I did part-time I did maternity leave, and then I did, First Steps, which is, like, early intervention here in Kentucky, and that was through my own business. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. So you really I think I would call you an entrepreneur because I know your passion is starting new things. And so I feel like that's how I would That's what I would call you, which
You
doesn't
wouldn't
put,
even
like
say, like, part-time or, like, how do you explain that I'm home? So
I
I'll give the
know, it's
current,
true.
guys. I'm home, so my current situation is I stay home with my kids 3 days a week, and then I work during the day 2 days a week, as an OT, as a parent consultant, as a, just consultant in general, so I do trainings as well, but some of that stuff is in the evenings and on the weekends.
Mhm.
So it's hard to kinda define my hours because of that as well, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. And then, like, we'll get into more of, like, the as we think about the future, like, what you're thinking about, we'll get into that later. But
As I
anyways,
take a drink.
we're recording in the evening, which we have been a lot lately. So we don't have our coffee, we have other drinks sitting next to
You have some
us.
adult beverages because this conversation is
Yeah.
tough, guys.
Yeah. Well, we're also I mean, yes, and also, I wanted it to feel like I'm just sitting here with you, like, having a drink, chatting on a Thursday evening. So, anyways,
So here we are,
so
chatting
here
on
we
a
are.
Thursday evening with a drink.
That's all we're doing.
Fun times.
Um,
So tell us about
okay,
your career.
so
You were like Abby was like career woman.
yeah, and I was reflecting on this today as I was kinda thinking through this episode. And I think if you would have asked me like, I always wanted to be a mom. That was, like, definitely a huge desire of mine from the time that I was probably, like, 24, 25. Like, I definitely wanted to be a mom. But I don't think I would have told you I would ever be a stay-at-home mom at that point. Like, I think I would have yeah, I thought that I was gonna be in my career for the majority of my life probably. So,
Did
anyways,
you envision like well, go ahead and tell us what you did. Yeah, you
yeah.
graduated school. What did you do?
So graduated college, started working for a startup in LA doing marketing and like event marketing and print marketing and all kinds of different things. Started doing that right away. And the owner of that company, he was getting ready to step away. So he was like, I want you to just take all my clients, like basically take my company. And I was like, that would be great. I would love to do that. But we're about to move to the other side of the country. And I don't feel like these time zones are going to work in my favor. Like it was just going to be hard. So I was like, maybe I'll try it for a little while. So I kind of had the idea of maybe I could run a business and I could travel back to California. Like maybe I could do that. It didn't work. So didn't do that. Ended up working at an advertising agency, which then got me my job at the corporate company that I was at, Farm Credit. And I worked there. I mean, I was there 8 years, I think, and I thought I would be there, till I retired. So yeah, I worked in marketing and UX design, digital design, communications, kind of the whole gamut of things. So, and it was like a pretty family oriented company, like took care of us well, great benefits, all the different things were like very understanding when you had, like, I would see my coworkers, like, if they had things happening with their kids, things happening at home, like, very understanding, good maternity leave, blah, 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 all the things. But it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I just don't think this is what I'm meant to do right now. And it helped me to say, it's not a decision I'm making forever. It's just a decision I'm making for right now. Um, and here we
So
are.
Judah was how old
So he was 15, like 15, 16 months
when
when
you
I left.
decided and just to clarify, you quit full
Mhm.
stop,
Yep.
stay-at-home mom when your
Yep.
child was around 15 months.
Yes. So, and they had talked to me about like, here's some options you could look at taking, like a long-term leave, like a, family leave. You could look at some of these different things, which wouldn't necessarily guarantee you can come back and have your same job, but it would still give you would be guaranteed a job back in the company. And that could range from like 90 days to I think a year. You can take that leave. So I was so for sure that I did not want to go back that I was like, no, I'm not even interested in that, which is so wild now. Like now thinking back on that, because I'm like, man, that was a good offer.
And you were the breadwinner, right?
Yeah, because Josh was in school, he was working part-time jobs. So, I mean, part of what made my decision easier is that he did get his full-time job, like, what he had gone to school for, what he was pursuing, like, he was walking in that, very confident there, and so that helps me, but also, I just was seeing Judah grow up so fast before me that I was like, "I have wanted this for so long, like, this is what I have wanted. I've wanted to be his mom." Um, yeah, and we had a nanny at the time who was with us, with our family 3 to 4 days a week and was incredible, and she was also moving. So, it was kind of like this perfect storm of how it all came together. But yeah, I completely stepped away, and I do think that, like, I knew that I could do some things on the side, like part-time things, not necessarily a podcast, but some other part-time things, like, I knew I could do, like, some marketing consulting one day. I also had my master's, like, I got my master's in the midst of all that. So, yeah, I felt like, okay, I could do things if I really needed to, like, if my family needs me to do that, if that's what we need, there are options. But it was, like, 6 months before I even started thinking about doing anything else.
So, was there anything that, like, happened? Like, was there, like, a moment where, like, you missed, like, Judah's first steps? Or you know what I mean? Like, was there anything like that? Or was it just, like, a slow desire?
I think it was really just a slow churn of, like, so one thing that changed in my job is that right before I went on maternity leave with Judah, I got a promotion and I was leading a whole team, and my team was, like, super high functioning, like, amazing group of people doing all the things, like, they did all the things while I was on maternity leave, like, I felt like they were running the ship, like, in a great way. But leading a team and then our company went through, like, some really big changes, all good things, like, not bad at all, but good things, and I was leading the communications team for all of that, so it was like you're on call a lot, like, lots of taking work home with you, like, all those things, so it wasn't like one thing happened, but it was just like a steady, like, yeah, the promotion was ramping up, like, all those different things were happening, um, and it was getting harder and harder to say, like, "When I'm home, I can be fully home." So, I feel like there probably were, like, some pivotal moments in that, but overall, it was just, like, kind of that slow churn to be like, "Yeah, I don't think this is what I thought it was gonna be." So but, like, again, if you would've asked me, like, a year before, 2 years before, I would have been like, "I wanna be chief of staff for the president." Like, I mean, that's what I had, like, "I'm gonna do all this." So,
Oh, man, you're speaking to the choir.
yeah.
I would never in my life have I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Never. I always said, um, career, career, career. When I have kids, um, like, that was kinda, like, before I got married. It was career, career, career. I mean, I did want kids. I actually wanted, like, 6 kids, but that was, like, just way before I, like, knew anything about what that it never went further than that. Like, the thought never went further than that. Um, and then when it started becoming more of a reality, like, when I got married, I realized how much full-time work was just kind of draining, like, in general, like, keeping up with housework, cooking, like, just things like that, social life, and not to say like, my husband's very helpful and we share,
Yeah.
responsibilities, but still, I was just kind of like, "Man, I'm exhausted. I hate coming home every day and being exhausted." It didn't, help that I didn't like my job at the time, but, and at that point, I was like, "Okay, I think ideally it would be I work part-time." And I was kinda thinking, like, heavy part-time, 3 full days of the week, and then be at home with our kids 2 days a week, and then they'll go to school, and I'll probably keep that timeline just so that I have some me time. That was,
Mhm,
like, my thought.
mhm.
That was my original plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and, like, the thought now of, okay, like, yes, we're always evaluating, we're always like, "Okay, do we need to do something different? Like, what's that looking like?" But the thought now of, like, "Okay, now just, like, wait until they're in school," like, I don't know about you, but that feels far away. Like, and I know it's not. I know it's gonna come fast, but
well, now I'm on the, like, "But I'm gonna homeschool, so then what am I gonna do?" Except
Yeah.
I don't know. But, like, literally, these are the things that go through my mind all the time. I'm like, "Well, do I homeschool so that I could have more time to work? Do I go back like, being an entrepreneur is completely different than
Mhm.
being, like, working for someone else, and then especially I mean, I guess I can't say this for sure, but I think especially because I'm an entrepreneur that also stays home. So it's really, really hard because I think if I didn't have kids, I would just be, like, gung ho entrepreneur, like pedal to the metal, work all the time, like make this like hugely successful business. But I'm like so restrained because to do that is going to take away from something else, you know?
Hey, friends, if you've been enjoying Beyond the Home Study and want to help us keep these real, honest conversations going, we've got two simple ways you can support the show. First, you can subscribe to or follow the show and give us a 5-star review wherever you listen. Second, we just set up a Buy Me a Coffee page. It's a way to donate to our show and just a small way to say, hey, this matters. So if you would like to support the show, you can head to buymeacoffee.com/beyond the home study, or simply click the link in our show notes. And please know that we're incredibly grateful.
And so there's like this conflict of interest of like, honestly, what I really want is to work like what is it? Heavy part-time, be uber successful, also stay home pretty much full-time and homeschool, and be really successful with that, and I just want both, and I don't know why I can't have both.
Well, what you
So,
should
that's where I'm
have
at.
done is started a really successful business and then sold it at some point, and then you would have this like reoccurring,
There you go.
income, like this passive income that's just coming
Well, then
in.
I would have wanted to
Then you
start
would have done
another
something else.
business.
I know.
Yeah, like, I could just be home. It's not about the money, right? Like, if it were about the money, I wouldn't work at all. Like, we are
Yeah.
thankfully blessed that we don't have to
Yeah.
I don't have to bring home money, but still, like, uh,
I know.
I feel like this is the question. Like, this is the golden whatever, like, dilemma. Is this, like, I wanna work for me, and for a lot of moms, it's like, well, I want to work for me, but it's a wash with childcare. I don't, by the time I pay for childcare, I'm not bringing home anything. And then is it even worth it? Should I just be at home? Why am I wasting my time working when I'm missing out on being with them just so that I can have a business or a job that I don't even profit from?
Yeah, and there's so many things with like, yes, it's childcare, but then it's also like you may have someone who cleans your house because you're not home all the time. Or maybe you're home, but you're working, so you're not like, so you have that and then you've got like all these other there's so many other expenses, and I mean, I've seen this in my life too, where that's like you spend money on convenience things because you're busy, and that has to be calculated too. If you're looking at like, is this a wash or like, what does this really mean? But yeah, it's hard. And it's like, I feel like I thought about this today. When I am home, like washing dishes, doing laundry, like doing the things that happen every day, like I feel like I'm working. I don't feel like I am,
Mhm.
like, just putzing around. Like, I feel like I'm working. It's a lot to keep up with, especially with all the bottles that I wash, like, all the twins, all the different things, stocking the fridge, making sure that you've got all the things,
Laundry.
all that stuff. Like, it does feel like work. And so it's like, okay, so I am working, but, like, I don't have the same satisfaction as what I did when I worked, like, quote, unquote, "outside the home," even though you could do a job inside the home. You could do a job from home that's still, you know, working for someone else, whatever. Um, so I don't know, like, I don't feel like I'm lazy at all. Like, I'm not just, like, not doing anything. Like, I'm spending my time on good things, but I also have a desire to grow this podcast and do other things and talk to other adults every once in a while.
Mhm. That's a big one for me, and the thing like, I talk to my kids, like, we converse,
Yeah.
like, it's they're older now that we can oldish, old enough, but still just, like, I think some of it's, like, creating, like, outside of the home, like, you are, like I don't know, and even in my job, like, a lot it's crazy. This is, like, nuts to me that, like, I wanna leave my kids so that I can go play with other people's kids. Like
Yes. However, when you're playing with other kids, like, because I've seen you do this and you've talked me through these things, like, you're so purposeful in the things that you're doing, and, like, you're doing them for a very specific reason, which I'm not saying you're not doing that with your own kids at home, because you are, but it's like a different I don't know,
yeah.
it's like a different mentality.
It's just different, but it
Yeah.
feels that way when you're
Yeah.
like, "But you have your own kids at home, like, why do you wanna go play with someone else's kids?"
Mhm.
Or not even them. I mean, yeah, but there is just, like, a sense of ooh, there is, like, well, when I leave those homes, those parents are thankful. My children are not always thankful, you
Oh,
know?
man. I know, it's like that funny meme or, like, whatever, TikTok where it's like, you have, like, an iPad with, like, "What's my tip?" Like, my tip amount, like, after you, like, finish folding the laundry, you, like, show your kids, like, "What's my tip?" Like,
Oh, I've
10%,
never seen this one.
15%, 20%. Oh my gosh, they're so funny. It's
And
like,
they're
I
like,
need
"I pooped my pants."
Yeah. And you're like, "Okay, that's, like, a lot of extra steps, so I need more. More compensation,
Uh,
please."
yeah, really, I need a raise.
Uh-huh. I
Um
know.
I know, it's really hard. I think this balance is, like it's hard, and I know, like, I wanna say, like, "Oh, it gets easier," but here's the thing, I know like, I have friends with older kids, and they still have this dilemma, even though
Uh-huh.
their kids are in school. I have one friend, their kids are, what's it, like 12 and 9 or something, and she's always like, "I feel like I should pull them out and homeschool them." One needs this and another needs this, and she works part-time, and she actually has a flexible schedule most of the time, but she travels some for work, and she takes meetings. She works from home, but like there are times when she's, unavailable like, and you just think like, are we always going to have this dilemma? Like,
Yeah.
if, I know moms that do work full time and they wish they're home, and then moms that are home and they wish and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Mhm. I know, and even, like, Josh and I have talked about, like, how the ideal would be to have, like, a family business that you're, like you can see your whole family is, like, working towards the same goal. You're all doing like, you're all coming together and, like, striving for the same thing, whether it's your, family landscaping business or it's your tech business, like, whatever it is, like, you all have, like, this same idea, the same goal. And I've thought about that, and then I've thought, like, but then you never get any escape or break or anything, like, you're always in it, you're always doing that, everything is riding on your family, and I've thought, like, "Man, that's not even like, that might feel, like, idyllic and like, ah, yes, that'd be wonderful," but that's also a lot of pressure,
Well,
and
what if one of your kids hates that business?
yeah.
What if you have a kid that's like hates being in the sun? And you're like, well, we have a sailing business.
I guess you can go clean the sails in the warehouse? I don't know.
You know what I'm
But yeah,
saying? Like,
no, it's a great point. I know. And that's definitely the thing too. I mean, you see it on you see it in all kinds of different businesses, but I think of like family farms where you've got these like generations of families who've run these farms and it's amazing. And then you get one that's like, I
or
don't
like, I
I
will
don't
never
want to do
step foot
that.
on a farm. I'm
Yeah,
going to
like
New
I'm gonna
York.
sell it. Yeah, I want to sell it. I don't want anything to do with it. So there's no perfect solution in that
Yeah, there
sense.
is no perfect solution. Um, I do think like, you had mentioned to me the advice about like, and you shared it even on the podcast before about like not thinking that every decision is a like permanent decision.
Yeah.
Like that when you quit your job that you were like, I could always go back. And that honestly has been really helpful for me. As I think through things, it's also been really helpful um to write out like what's my ideal day, and then like what's really crazy is, like, a lot of times when I look at what I've written, it's really similar to what I have,
Mm,
and that's been helpful too.
that's cool. Yeah, I think that's good. I know, I just think, like, overall, it is a journey to bring together, like, the person that I was before kids and the person that I am now with kids, and, like, how 'cause if you ask me about my ideal day, like, I'm thinking all things that revolve around me, honestly. Like, like, I wanna do these things, I wanna check this stuff off my like, all of that, and, like, I see that very clearly because when I have moments to myself, few and far between, but when I do, it's like, what am I gonna do for me? It's not, what am I gonna do for someone else or for like, I don't know, like, I'm
But do
always
you think
thinking
that's bad?
about I don't think it's bad, but it's like, how do I process through, like, bringing those people together? Because that's who I am. Who I was before kids has made me who I am today, but how do I bring those things together? It's
Think
like competing priorities.
like, are you talking about, like, who I am before kids? I like to do these things. I wanted to run, I wanted to like, stuff like that,
Yeah,
and then, like, who I am now, I change diapers and wash bottles?
yeah,
Yeah, but I feel like some of that is just, like, a very, very short season.
I know.
Like,
But it's
remember
hard
back
to
to,
see
like
when you're in it.
it is hard to see when you're in it. This is true. But
Yeah.
I'm like, remember back to, like, when Judah was a baby before the twins, And, like, how long did it take you before you were like, "I feel like I'm myself again"? Because for me, it took 2 years.
Yeah.
Not 2 years total because my daughter, because they compounded, it took till
Yeah.
my son was 2.
Yeah.
So, really, that was, like, 3.5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But, like,
true.
I am you know what I'm saying? Like, and I can
Mhm.
tell you, like, there's less competition now.
Yeah, that's good. It
Do you
is.
feel like if you remember before the twins, or can you even remember that?
Yeah, I know. No, I do think that that's true, like, yeah, there was, like, definitely a sweet spot between probably 18-ish months. So when Judah turned, like, that fall, so I quit my job in, like, February or March, and then by that fall, I was like, "I'm gonna start a virtual assistant business. I heard this great podcast about it. I'm gonna, like, do these things," and I was, like, passionate about it, like, "Okay, I can do this." He's sleeping through the night. Everything at home is, like, somewhat in order the way that, like, to the best of my ability during the day. So, like, at night and in the early mornings, I can do my own thing. And I did that for a little while, and then the twins.
Well, yeah, because
And
then you're like, "We're in a sweet spot, let's add more."
yeah, so then 6 months later, I'm like, "Woo, okay."
But you'll
So,
get back there again,
yeah, it's true. It's true. It's just
and
a
it goes by
lesson in,
fast, and this
being
time you're home with them.
yeah, it's true. I know, I have thought about that a lot with them of, like, the things that I didn't get to see with Judah on, like, on an every single day basis, like, I saw it, of course, the days I was with him, but every single day, I'm like, "Wow, I didn't experience this the same way." So, it's sweet.
Something that I think is really interesting about the first, like, postpartum days or, even, like even with my daughter LJ, like, there's this, like, fine balance, and I think it really depends on your personality between, like, you wanna bond with your baby, and everyone talks about that. Regardless if you're in the adoption sector or you're not, everyone talks about bond with your baby, like, skin to skin, be all over each other all the time. And for some moms, I think they eat that up and they need that and they want that. And then
Mhm.
for some, they actually like, I'm not saying don't hear me say that you shouldn't bond with your baby, but they actually need more autonomy to be able to then bond with their baby.
Hmm.
Because if you are so, um, overwhelmed with having a child attached to you or crying or disrupted sleep, and these are things that you're not used to, and again, it depends on your personality, you may need to, like, go. like, do the thing. I know, and I say this because this was me. Like,
Yeah, that's me too.
we brought LJ home, and a few weeks later, I went out of town for a weekend.
Mhm.
My husband was there, you know? Desmond was born, and literally as soon as I was cleared to lift again, because I had had a C-section with him, I was back to work. Now
Mhm.
I worked very part-time, um, but I needed that. Everyone kept saying, "You should take more time." Even my clients were like, "You're back already?" And I'm like, "No, I need this." Like,
Yeah.
I need some autonomy.
Yeah, that's actually funny. I was just talking to someone the other day, and they said they own their own, chiropractor business or practice, and so she's like, "Yeah, people thought, like, I was crazy for coming back here." I don't remember what she said, like, 5 or 6 weeks, and in my mind, I was like, 5 or 6 weeks? That's, like, so early, but she's like, "I just I sometimes I even brought him with me, but I just needed to go and do something and feel
Mhm.
like I could go and produce something outside of my home."
That was me. It was
Yeah,
either 6 or 8 weeks that I was back, and I was like, "No, I have got to, like, have some time." And now, I think I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, I know I've shared with you. I've learned about myself that I'm a HSP, which is a highly sensitive person, and it makes more sense on why. Like,
interesting.
I need silence to, like, process my thoughts, and not silence like 20 minutes. I need, like, multiple hours. Not necessarily in a row, but that would be great.
Yeah,
To just, like, be still with my thoughts.
yeah, yeah, I think that's good, and, like, I heard somebody say and on a podcast, I don't know, earlier, that, like, when you're thinking about working with children or after children or, like, and this whole thing is, like, it's a very luxurious conversation to have, right? Like, there are some people, many, many people who, like, they have their child, whether they adopt, foster care, or give birth to this child, they're back to work. Like,
Yeah.
understand that
We should have
there are
added that at the
so
beginning.
many people that is what it has to be, and there that's the situation, and that's wonderful. Like, it really is that you can go back, like, you have childcare, you have all these other things set in place, whatever. So, anyways, they were saying, like, if you do have the privilege of thinking through, "Should I go back to work? Do I wanna go back to work?" Evaluate, like, where's your heart in this? Like, what is where's your motivation? Is it to escape your motherhood? And I was in the middle of kind of a hard, couple of moments as I was listening to this, and, like, they asked this question in my ear, and I was like, "Yes, yes." I'd like to escape a
You
little
wanna
while.
escape my motherhood just for a little bit. I don't think
Like
there's anything wrong with that. Were they saying there was?
it's not forever. It's just that I need a little escape. So, I don't know. I think where they were coming from, and, like, I mean, I could even link to this podcast. It was actually very good, and, like, it is helpful if you do want to think through all of this more. But it was good. Like, they're just talking through, if you do not have to work, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's you are provided for in a different way, your husband, spouse, family, like, whatever, you don't have to work, like, what's your motivation for wanting to or choosing to be away from your children every single day in a full-time job? What, like, that, I mean, that's how I was taking it. And it's like, yeah, I think that there probably are some not great motivations there that you could
Really? Like what?
find. Like, I think okay, so I do think that escaping can have, like, a positive intention or it can have a negative intention.
Okay, explain further, because 'cause I'm a little like, what would be a bad
Okay, so I do think that there is a set and, like, this is what I said I was gonna get into, and I'm, like, thinking about what people are gonna hear.
This is your thoughts, okay?
I know,
You
and
are
I'm
not in
overthinking it.
control of other people's
I
feelings.
know, and, like, I probably should have said this earlier. I'm, like, pretty passionate about the topic of work in general, and, like, I have done a lot of research and, like, done a lot of soul work on, like, what does work look like who should work. Like, I've done, like, a lot of thinking through all of this stuff. So, I do think about this a lot. But I also so with this whole, like, can you have, like, a negative intention or a positive intention? I do think that there is a sense of just, like, shipping your kids off for someone else to raise them
Okay.
and, like, not wanting to take the responsibility of being a mom and being a parent. And I think, like, this may be controversial, but I think it's the same for dads. Like, I think it's for moms, but it's also the
Mm.
same for dads. Like, I think that if a dad is always like, "Whatever you want, mom, like, you raise the kids," like, I don't agree with that. That's not how it works in our home. Like, Josh is very involved. Like, he raises our kids just as much as I do. Like, timing may look different, but ultimately, like, he has as much weight as I do and vice versa. Like, absolutely. So, I think there is that, like, escapism.
That's fair. No, that's
Yeah,
fair. When you're talking about, like, there's one thing to be like, yeah, like, I'm not well, I think, like, we are called to take care of the things that we have been given, right? And, like, that looks so many different ways, you
for
know?
sure.
You can 100% be taking care of what you've been given by sending your child to wherever, but you also could be doing it because you don't want to take care of the thing that you have been given, thing being
Yes.
child.
Yeah, right. Like
So
and,
yeah,
like, I
I
mean,
would
some of the
agree.
things that, we talk about of, like, the hard realities that come with foster care and adoption that are, like, I'm not trained for this, like, I'm not equipped for this, so rather than taking the time to, like, be coached and learn and dig in and research, I'm just like, uh, "School will handle that." Like, there is a sense of, I think that's wrong.
Well, I mean, you could be a
So
stay-at-home mom and do that too, right? Like,
oh,
if you're having your TV babysit your child, again,
1000%.
TV's great. I love TV, but, use it as a tool. It's not a babysitter,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, you could do it in either way. So, yes, I would agree with you, like, that in that way. Okay. I needed some context there because that was a little dicey there for a minute. I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I know, and, like, I mean, the other thing that I think about a lot, especially now, like, in our current situation, is that, my parents are really close by. My mom, she thankfully, like, she'll watch the kids every once in a while for a couple hours at a time, like, I'll go run errands, do little things here and there, but, like, I want her to be grandma. I don't want her to be
Mhm.
mom. So, like, there is a balance there too where, like, I don't want her to have my kids the majority of the week because I want her to still be able to be grandma. And it's not that I think she would do a bad job at all. Like, she would be amazing as a part-time or full-time caretaker for them. But then she doesn't get to be grandma. So, which again, that's a luxury too. So,
Yeah, I think it's just such a, like, in a lot of I know at least some of our audience comes from, like, a really conservative background, and a lot of conservative, communities, there's just this, like, really strong pull or strong, like, I don't wanna say desire, but, like, whatever it is, there's a presence, we'll just say presence of, like, homeschooling your children and being a stay-at-home mom, and we've all seen, like, trad moms or trad wives or whatever they're called now, and it's funny because I feel so conflicted on this because I think that, like, on one hand, you get these, like, uber liberals that, like, hate these trad is it trad wives?
yeah,
Trad
that's what
moms? What is it?
I've heard trad wives.
Trad wives, okay.
Yeah.
You have these, like, uber liberals that, like, hate trad wives, and I'm like, "Well, but did they choose that because, like, they're really gifted in that?" Because, like, if you're just gifted in that, then, like, you're doing what you should be doing faithfully.
Yeah,
Great,
right.
good for you.
Yeah.
But then, on the same time, I feel like you get these, like, uber conservative circles that they're like, everybody should be homeschooling and everybody should stay at home. And I'm like, but if I'm not using the gifts that God gave me to work and be creative because God has given me those gifts, then, like, I'm actually not being faithful by
Yep.
staying home with my kids.
Oh, I think that all the time of, like, when I take the girls or even when I myself go to the doctor, or like the girls have this amazing infectious disease specialist and I know she has young kids, but like I'm like, I'm so glad that you're here because like this is what you were made to do. Like, yes, you're a mom and yet like all of those things, yes, but she's incredible with the twins. So I'm like, ah,
You
like
wouldn't have that
you
had she chosen to
can't
stay home.
that's why I think you just can't ever have this big blanket statement of everyone must or no one should. Like, it just doesn't work like that. There are caveats on every side. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, go ahead. I'll move us along eventually.
Well, I was gonna tell you guys, okay, so this just happened today, okay? And I was like, "Oh, what great timing." And I had this, like, really great epiphany that I'm gonna share online before I've even shared with my husband. So, my husband texted me today and was like, so I'm obviously moving the conversation along. He texted me today and he was like, uh, "Hey, are these dates okay? Like, which date would you prefer? I need to travel for work."
Mhm.
And I instantly just got, like, pissed because this is not it was not supposed to be part of my husband's job to travel, and like, some things changed in his, role since he first started, and he now travels, like, once a month, and there was never, like, a line of, like, "Hey, I'm getting promoted," or "I'm taking a new position," or "And it's gonna be 25% more travel," or, like, whatever, and he used to travel, like, twice a year, and now it's, like, every month, and so I'm just, like, pissed, like, "What the heck? You just traveled. You're getting ready to travel again?" You know? And so he comes home. I didn't respond to his text. He was, like, almost home anyway. He comes home, and I was like, "I don't wanna talk about it. Like, I'm not happy with you right now, and I'm gonna go take a shower." And he was like, "Okay." And I was, like, taking a shower, and I was like, "Why does this make me mad? Like, why am I mad about this?" And as I was thinking about it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not mad. I'm jealous."
Mm. Yep.
I was like, "I'm jealous that he gets to travel for work." It's not about, like, I don't wanna spend time with my kids or I don't wanna be alone with them. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's a little stressful when I don't have adult conversations that day,
Sure.
but, like, I can call a friend, like, that's
Yeah.
not the end of the world, but I'm jealous that he gets to, like, go to a different place, get on a plane, talk to new people, like, I love that stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm not doing any of that right now.
Yeah. Have you explored at all, like, because I've seen other couples do this, where if you are able to, you travel with him and, like, let him go do his work stuff, and you just hang out by the pool, go shopping, do whatever, just, like, do something, but then you get to still like, you spend mornings and evenings together or, like, whatever time he has.
So we've kind of, like, talked about it, like, once or twice, and but the thing is, like, I'd have to take the kids with us
Mm,
because I don't have family nearby that, like, could just pop over and watch my kids for a weekend, or it's not it's during the week. Um, so I'd have to take the kids, and then you're just like, "That's way too expensive,"
yeah.
So that's just, like, not practical for us, but it is,
True.
like I mean, I don't know, it was kind of eye-opening to me because I was
Yeah.
just like, "What does that say about my current home work balance if I'm jealous of my husband?" You know what I mean? Um, I'll have to keep you guys updated on what
I
we decide.
know.
Greg doesn't even know this yet.
Greg,
But
listen to the podcast at 42 minutes. Oh, man.
but have you ever, like do you know what I'm talking about? Like, do you ever, like,
Yeah.
feel jealous about or
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
not even that strong of a feeling, I don't know.
I mean, so with my husband's job, there are evenings that he's away, whether it's like he's going to a dinner or he just has like an event or a meeting or whatever in the evenings. And like, yeah, most of the time in the evenings, I just want to sit and do nothing. Like I'm done for the day, like absolutely done. But there are those rare days that I'm like, I want to go do something. Like I want to have a reason to
Get
get
dressed
get
up
dressed
and
and go out and like yeah, like I would love to have something like that. So, I don't know, like, that feeling probably isn't as prominent because I have 2 still, basically newborns who aren't sleeping.
You're like, "I'm so tired. You can have the
Yeah.
steak dinner. I don't care."
Yeah, I know, right? But, like, I mean, I guess I think back on I did travel for work, like, when I was working, and I did have some pretty nice trips and nice meals and all of those things that, like, it's probably more of a, like, "Oh, I wish it could still be like that," in some in some way. So,
2, some of it is like there's the actual travel, but there's also the, like, I wish I could be the person that doesn't feel responsible for our kids and our family.
hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong, my husband is a fantastic father and is always willing to do anything that I ask him to do around the house, but at the end of the day, it's my responsibility.
You hold that, like, in what do they call it? Like, the invisible, um it's like the invisible mental load. Like,
Yes.
you hold it for like,
Yes.
primarily moms. I do think some dads hold it more,
Yeah, I do
but
think there are some dads too, but yes, I hold the mental load for the majority of things that go on in our family, and
Mhm.
I'm like, there's a part of me that's just like, "What's that like?" To be, like, the only thing that I have to worry about, and I know if you're a guy listening to this, I'm probably totally belittling you, and I don't mean it that way, and my husband and I have had this conversation, um, but for a little bit, for a moment in my brain, it almost feels like, "What's that like?" To just be like, "Oh, I have to travel for work. Um, is this date okay? Okay, cool. See ya." And you're not worrying about like because let's be honest, like even if I worked full time, I would have to be like, who's gonna take the dog out? Who's gonna take the kids? Like, are you gonna get the kids ready and make sure they get in school? Do I need to call in help? Oh, did you know they have a doctor's appointment? Okay, can you make sure that they get to this doctor appointment? Let me go ahead and plan out some meals so that everybody has all the food and let me go to the grocery store first. He doesn't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
None. He literally just has to hop on a plane and go. What's that like?
I don't know, maybe you should just try it at some point. Be like, "Okay, Greg, I'd like to go out of town one of these 2 dates. Which works for you? See ya."
Sayonara. He actually would probably, like, rise to the occasion, and it would be totally fine.
I mean, I think that's part of, like, the mental load thing too of, like, we're holding it way more than it needs to even be
Yeah.
held. Like, the kids will eat, they'll sleep, they may not take a bath, but they'll have clothes on, like,
They
they'll be
definitely won't
fine.
take a bath. Their nails are definitely not gonna be trimmed,
Oh my
but
gosh, I know.
I know, it
Like
is true, you're right, it would get done, and, like,
yeah.
there is a little bit of, like, we're holding it because we want it done our way. And it's like, what do you care more about? But I do think about that when it comes to work because I'm like, well, if I picked up work, like if I started doing, more days of work, like, am I going to be able to let some of these things go?
Mhm.
Or is it more important to me that these things get done the way I want them done? Like, what's more important?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really important point of and, like, I think this some days where it's like, what are the things that only I can do?
Hmm.
Like, truly only me. I am the only one who can go to the bathroom on my own, like myself.
Wait, you go on your own?
I have to take myself to the bathroom. Yeah, I know,
Your
right?
toddler doesn't follow you?
Well, okay, this actually happened today where I was like, "Hey, bud, I need some privacy." And he comes in and he closes the door. He says, "I need some privacy too." And I was like, "Okay, well." But, like truly thinking about sometimes, like again, Josh, like Greg, like rises to the occasion, does great. Like if we're trying to get out the door to go somewhere all together, and he's like, "What else can I grab? What else do you need me to do?" And I'm like, um, okay. And, like, I need to get myself ready. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to take like, whatever, like, the things that I only can do. And I'm like, "What if I only did those things? What if I only did those things?" But I'm also this is, like, gonna get us on a whole other episode at some point. I have a hard time asking for help, and I know that about myself. Like, my pride is a real strong muscle inside of me, and, like, sometimes, truly, I even get, like, emotional, like, I will tear up thinking about asking someone for help, not even doing it, just thinking about it, and I'm like, "That's a problem."
Even Josh.
Josh, no, I could definitely ask him to do more than what I do, but he does a lot. So I'm like, at this point, in this season, like, we're both just doing a lot and
Yeah,
juggling a
yeah.
lot. But no, I get like it's hard.
And then, there is, like, that mi yeah, like, you're getting ready to leave, and there have been times when I wanna be like, "I'm just not gonna answer you, figure it out." And then I'm like, I can't really say that because that's, like, really rude, but at the same time, I'm just like, "They're your kids, like, you figure it out." And then I'm like, "But if I say that, and if that were received well, um, I'm gonna be mad when we get to the store
Yeah.
or we get to the park, and they don't have the spare change of clothes because" and then I'm gonna be like, "This wouldn't have happened if I packed the bag." So, I mean, whose fault is it really? Like,
This is the problem.
I
This is
know.
our problem. Oh
This is our
gosh.
dilemma.
Yeah, it
No,
really
it
is.
is. Well, I'm sure we could go on and talk about this work. Do I work? Do I not? Do I do something in between?
I
Dilemma
know.
forever.
It really like, this is one of those episodes we just talked about this recently too, where it's like, we do not have it all figured out. Obviously, we have been chatting about this and, like, we just don't, and we know that so many people around us and that are listening to, like, we don't have it figured out yet, but maybe this will help just, like maybe it will spur on a thought or an idea or at least just make you feel like
You're not
you're not
alone.
alone. Yeah. It definitely helped. I mean, when we started talking about this a couple days ago, I was like, "Yeah, wow, that felt good to just start talking
Yeah.
about it."
It felt so good to just know, like, when we started talking about it, like, "Oh, I'm not the only one having this insane struggle." I'm not crazy for wanting to work, and I'm also not crazy for wanting to stay home, and yeah, if you're listening to this, I hope you feel the same way. We wanna encourage you, if you are thinking about going back to work or if you don't have a choice and you are
Mhm.
working, you're not crazy and you're not harming your kids. Um, you know, I think about this. I had a friend tell me this once that they want their kids to see what their mom can do. And I
Oh, that's
thought that
good.
was yeah, it was so cool to be like, you're right. Like my mom was a full-time my mom was a doctor. She worked a lot of hours
Yeah.
and I was proud of her. I
Mhm.
thought what she did was cool.
Yeah.
You know? Um, and so, yeah, if that's you, if you're working because you have to, because you choose to, whatever it is, great. Like, that's great. And if you're a mom, if you're a trad wife, great. um, you know, can you send me some sourdough bread, please?
Yeah, right.
Um, but yeah, like, if you're choosing to stay home, or if you're somewhere in between like us, you know, you're not alone.
Nope, definitely not. Well, I think this was good. It was good to just, like, kind of vent some stuff
All
out.
together now.
Take it in 1, 2, 3, hold, out. Okay, we're done.
See you guys next time. Bye.